And now back to the Disaster Recovery Hour on AM 970 The Apple. Here's your host, Chris Plunkett.
And we're back. This is the Disaster Recovery Hour. I'm your host, Chris Plunkett. Today's guest is Mike Venetis. Mike's the founder of the preproom.net. It's a great website. In our industry, on the East Coast, I know a lot of guys in the industry, but since I've had the show, I'm getting to meet guys with the same type of passion that I have and the sense of urgency of, making the public aware, or even, the individuals or the business owners on some of the things they should just naturally possess. I mean, a business owner, you have paper, you have a copy machine. Why don't you have a fire extinguisher? I saw that you had a kit for the car, and this is huge. I mean, you guys get a lot more snow than we do, so being prepared, driving with our traffic in both of these biggest metropolitan areas in the country, what encompasses in your kits for the cars? Yeah,
so we have several car kits that really just have everything that you would need if your car were to break down, and everything from the obvious things like jumper cables, first aid kit, flashlight with batteries, fire extinguisher, and then things like a solar blanket where some of the things are we have them where they don't take up a lot of space, but they come in real handy when you need it. Duct tape, even there's duct tape. There's 1,000 uses for duct tape, and so there's it's designed where everybody kind of knows what they should have at home and what they should have in the car, but it's just taking the time to even you can just go to the web and say, okay, well, today I'm going to go look for a fire extinguisher for my car, but we just kind of keep on pushing it off, and to go out and take the time to buy each one of these things individually. Most people just don't have that time, so it's kind of a one-stop shop where you can get a whole kit and you don't have to worry about anything else.
Well, you know what, kids roll their eyes when I talk about we'll be eating dinner or I don't know, shooting hoops, and I'll just blurt out, okay, we have a fire in the back bedroom. Where you going? Like, oh my God, here he goes again. So I'm always. I'm a realist. I'm not a panic guy. I don't think, nowadays with mold, I don't think mold is killing everybody, but do I think there's hazards to it? Sure there is. I think there's validity to a lot of stuff out here and out there, if you will, in TV land, radio land. But, it's, as I think, Americans, we get just jammed up with daily. Okay, who's going to football practice? Who's going to basketball practice? That the little things that you take for granted, the half hour to relax, you might be better off saying, you know what? Let me go to some major store and get myself a little fire extinguisher. Even stick it in the car. That could be part of your kit for the car. I think the car kit is a great idea. So, but people can get on the website. They can pretty much get everything they want. Or could they modify it?
Well, a lot of the items that we do have in the kit, we do sell individually too. So, yeah, there could be somebody who comes to the site and they already have a handful of supplies, and they just want to add to it, so they can go that route. Or, like I said, we have kind of the one-stop shop. There's a handful of different survival kits that have different things in them. But I think and I think what you touched on about with your family, where almost like a game, but saying okay, if there's a fire, what do you do? That's one of the most important things I think somebody can do. Just thinking through a disaster. There was a book that I read. I think it was the Survivors Club. Ben Sherwood, I believe, is the author's name, and he was talking about how people have short-term memory and then long-term memory, and what happens in a disaster is if you don't have a plan in your short-term memory. In other words, if the last time you thought about what the fire evacuation plan is for your home was 10 years ago, when there's a fire, people just freeze up. They become just frozen because their mind is searching their short-term memory for what to do, and there's nothing there, and so they panic, and that's why a lot of people, I forgot what the number is, but most people who are in some sort of disaster who perish, they shouldn't have. There was an easy way out in a lot of cases, but because they froze because of their not knowing what to do. That's the biggest thing. And so, my biggest encouragement would be on a weekly basis, do what you're doing, and just with your family and or even at work, just saying, if this were to happen right now, what would I do? And if the answer is I don't know what I would do, then buy some books, go to the library. We've got some great books on our site about how to deal with economic collapse or all sorts of things.
Right, and we're going to be touching on the economic disasters in a couple of weeks. If you just joined us, this is Disaster Recovery Hour. I'm your host, Chris Plunkett, and we're every Saturday between 7 and 8 a.m. And here in the Apple, AM 970. Mike Venetis is my guest today. He's the founder of the Prep Room. Maybe you can make it a game, maybe you can't. But I mean, obviously, disasters are serious stuff, and they come in many forms. You have I'm not saying fire is glamorous, but it's more. People see a fire in a car or a car wreck. Like they're all glued to it. It's just human nature. But the funny thing, ironic thing, I should say, about the fires is when we had Fire Prevention Week, when I really think should be Fire Prevention Month, it came from the Great Chicago Fire. That's how that got implemented in this country. It's been 80, 90 years old that once a week or once a month that they talk about it. But we depend on our government to be prepared. We're always like, well, how come they didn't know about this, and how come they didn't know about that? You know what? There's probably a lot of stuff I don't want to know about. That they let them do their job. So, but you could, if not lean on your government so much and just lean on yourself and say, what, I got the ABCs of my kit, or this is what I need where I live. I might not need sand or kitty litter for snow because I don't have snow where I live. I might need something else.
Yeah.
So let's talk about things that are economics, and no one has, and very few people have an extra $100 for this or that, the other thing. Some of the cheaper, or I shouldn't say cheaper, what are the affordable ways of getting prepared? What are some of your ideas on that?
Yeah, so, and before I do, just to touch on what you said about the government, people relying on the government to take care of them, that's kind of a scary thing, because you're right that we do depend on, we think that if there's some sort of disaster in our area that, help is on its way, and that's not always the case. I mean, eventually help will be on the way, whether it's the FEMA or Red Cross or whatever. Eventually somebody comes, but the problem is, are they going to get there before you're not around anymore? Hurricane Katrina was a great example of we just didn't get there quick enough. And sometimes it's because we can't get there quick enough, and there could be disasters that prevent people from making it to your area. So that's why it's so important for people to be self-sufficient and to be able to, whether it's just a grab-and-go survival kit or whatever it is, but to not rely on anybody and say, hey, if something happens, no one's going to take care of me but me.
Right.
And I think that's the attitude that people have to start going through.
So what are some of the affordable things that people can put in their car or even put in their house? Yeah,
the first thing is to get the list, to figure out what you actually need. And then, what I say is the first thing that you should do is kind of do a full inventory of your life. And what I mean by that is look at what you actually possess, because, a lot of times, half the stuff that you would want in a survival kit, you actually already own. It's just a matter of finding it.
Right.
And so what I would encourage you to do is go through the house, look through the basement, your garage, whatever it is, and look for the things that you would want in a kit. And then actually build a kit with that. Put everything in one spot, so if something happens, you're not, spending an hour, rifling through everything looking for your supplies. But as far as getting the supplies itself on the cheap, first of all, water. You can just use tap water and just bottle it. What we started doing a while back was just taking the 2-liter bottles of pop and sterilizing the bottles and then filling them up with water and storing those.
That's a great idea.
We, over the summer, we actually had a garage sale, and as I was putting stuff out, all of a sudden I realized, I'm like, wait a minute, why are we selling this? I could use this. And there was a couple old suitcases that I'm like, this would be great for storing our stuff in. So yeah, just take an inventory of what you have, and then whatever items are left over that you don't have, doing things instead of paying full price at a store, finding them on Craigslist or eBay or garage sales, yard sales, that sort of thing. There's a new site I discovered not too long ago called FreeCycle, where people in your area, you can join a group in your local area and just give stuff away, and it's kind of a barter system, if you will, where you can give stuff away, and then if you see something you need, you can take it. So there's a lot of things like that you can do. Making sure that clothes that you buy are not super trendy, but things that are
practical,
the classic stuff that won't go out of style next year.
Right.
And just saving money.
God knows, as Americans, I'm sure we want to look stylish as there's water flooding down from the apartment building above us.
Yeah.
Or fire. Does my shoes match my bag?
Right. Yeah, I write a blog a couple times a month, and I get some feedback that someone will say, I read your first the last 3 blogs, and now this 4th one. It's all coming together. Like I'm feeling convicted that I need to start doing something to take care of my family. So the website again is thepreproom.net, or you can also call us 1-800-266-1472, and also we're on Facebook. If you to all the listeners, if you go on our fan, they don't call it a fan page anymore, but our Facebook page, it's the Prep Room. You can sign up and or hit the like button, and you can get a free 10% off coupon on any
that's cool.
purchase. Yeah.
We're going to go to station break, and we'll be right back.
Thanks, Chris.